Hello, I'm Rachel Jones for the Finance News Network. Joining me today from VanEck Australia is Director of Investments, Russel Chesler. Russell, welcome back to FNN.
Thanks, Rachel. Good to be back here today.
Now, VanEck is one of the most active issuers of exchange-traded funds on the local market. Why the focus on ETFs?
Well, VanEck is a leading global provider of ETFs, and we currently have almost $50 billion invested across over 80 ETFs worldwide. We have 16 ETFs listed on the ASX. We launched ETFs in order to provide investors with a diverse, transparent, liquid and cost-effective means to achieve their investment objectives.
Thanks, Russell. Now, before we move on to talk about bond ETFs, can you tell me about the asset class and why people should consider bonds?
Well, bonds have a number of advantages and benefits for investors. Firstly, they provide really stable, reliable income, plus a return of capital at maturity. Secondly, they are more defensive than shares and can help reduce volatility in a portfolio. And thirdly, they provide portfolio diversification benefits as bonds generally do not move in tandem with equity markets.
Thanks for that explanation, Russell. And now to your ETF. Can you introduce that for us?
The VanEck Vectors Australian Corporate Bond Plus ETF was launched in May 2017 and offers investors access to a portfolio of the highest yielding, predominantly investment grade Australian dollar bonds. The ETF tracks the market iBoxx AUD Yield Plus Index. This is what is known as a smart beta index, which selects the bonds based on the highest yield and limits issuer exposure to 5%. In contrast, the normal market index weights the bonds by their size, which means that companies who have larger debt have a bigger proportion of that index.
And can you tell us about the performance, Russell?
Plus has achieved a performance of around 3.4% over the last year.
3.42?
I've said around, I think that's okay. Okay. Plus has achieved a performance of...
Start again, sorry. Look at me.
Okay. Plus has achieved a performance of 3.42% over the last year, which is 0.4% ahead of the Bloomberg AusBond Composite Index. Over the last 5 years, the market index has outperformed the AusBond Bloomberg Composite Index by 1.36% per annum. This is really good performance for a corporate bond portfolio.
Excellent. And is there anything else investors need to know?
The fee on Plus is a very competitive fee of 0.32%, which is significantly lower than what you'd pay on an unlisted managed bond fund. Plus provides investors with a diversified portfolio across sectors, bonds, as well as issuers. There are currently 77 issuers in the ETF and 117 bonds. Plus has an average duration of 4.4 years, which compares to 5.2 years for the Bloomberg AusBond Composite Bond Index. The shorter duration makes it less sensitive to interest rate movements.
And to the last question now, Russell, what is the key message you'd like to leave investors?
The VanEck Vectors Australian Corporate Bond Plus ETF maintains a diversified exposure and offers investors a portfolio which is currently invested in the highest yielding investment grade bonds with an average rating of A. The bonds are of shorter duration than the Bloomberg AusBond Composite Index. And you can easily access the ETF on the ASX through a single trade under the ticker Plus.
Russel Chesler, thanks for the introduction to your ETF.
Thank you for the opportunity.